Hey, this is Steve from S&S RV Adventures. Today's the 21st of April, 2018. Looks like we finally got a break in the weather, so we can get some things done on our RV. Today we're going to be repacking wheel bearings and putting on a MORryde X Factor cross member brace. We want to try those out and see how they look. So I'll be keeping you updated throughout the day, and once the weather warms up a little bit more, we'll get back and get this thing started. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. And everyone, this is Steve from S&S RV Adventures. Finally got us a break in the weather, so today we want to get the wheel bearings repacked on our 2011 Heartland Cyclone 3010 toy hauler. So we thought that we'd lay out some of the stuff and show you what we got going on here. While we got the wheels off of it, we thought we'd go ahead and put in the center one of the MORryde X Factor cross member braces and see how that would work out for us. We purchased it from Dyer's RV online. We've purchased from them several times. We always get good service from them, and we have several MORryde components on our RV. As far as the seals, they're for Dexter 7,000-pound axles, and we purchased those parts from RCD Super Center in Pataskla, Ohio. Those cats have always taken good care of us since we started RVing back in the day. So I also thought we'd lay out a few of the things that we'll be using to accomplish this job today. Now, as far as the cross member brace, I already got half of it hanging on the RV out there, and we'll show you that here in a little while. We also got the high temp bearing grease, of course, and some brake parts cleaner and some brushes and rubber gloves. I also thought I'd put some of the tools out we'll be using for the job, and it's sorted wrenches, 1/2 inch, 9/16, etc. And a couple of the biggest things is the 38 millimeter socket for the spindle nut. That'll come in, I think, really handy. And we've got the battery operated impact, and I'll tell you that thing is just fantastic for most minor work without dragging air cords and breaking out the big guns. That thing is fantastic. We'll start with getting this grease cap off. I always take a little chisel and a hammer and get in behind there, get that thing started, and take my screwdriver, get it right off there. So, apologize for all the noise out here today. Everybody's it's nice out and everybody's trying to get their yard work in. National Guard must be flying today too. So, got this little nut retainer. You can just pop it off there with a screwdriver. Might take a couple little bit of finesse. Get that off there. Now you may or may not need to use your socket or a wrench to get this nut off, depending, as you can, I hope you can see, this is finger tight and I can take it off with my finger. It won't be the same when I put it back together. This is at 38 millimeter. I believe it's 1.5 inches as well. A 38 millimeter socket I was talking about is nice to have. Slide your washer and your outer bearing out, and I just tend to lay everything in that cup. And hopefully you can slide your drum off just like that. Okay, so now we got our little parts washer pan underneath here, and using some brake parts cleaner. Any brake parts cleaner will do, PB Blaster, so I like it real well. Use a lot of their product. So your magnet, everything down. This don't look too bad really. It looks like they're running pretty good. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Like I said, I'm trying to get better at doing these videos. I'm sure I'll forget something, so if I do, make sure you remind me, and I will try to make an edit or make a correction on the next time. So these look like they might have a little ridge to them, but not too bad. I'm not too worried about it. So I don't even think I need to run a brush over these, so it looks pretty good. All the brake hardware looks good. The bearing lip looks good, and the seal lip looks good. So I think we can move on here and get ready to clean up the drum a little bit. And I'll take that in the garage and repack a wheel bearing. We'll see if we can get that recorded for you as well. So, okay, once you remove the seal out of the drum, you're going to want to get your bearing repacked here. And there's several tools and stuff now that you got bearing packers and all this, but the way I do is the way my dad taught me over 45 years ago. So you just take some bearing grease and put it in your palm, and then take the wide part of the bearing here, and you just start putting the grease in it, and you just keep working it around and working it around until grease starts coming out the other side here. So once the grease starts coming out the other side, that bearing is repacked, and you can start putting it back together. So it'll take several minutes to get this repacked this way. So I'll continue to work on that, and then once I'm finished, we'll get with reinstalling the bearing and the new seal into the drum. So let's see if we can get that accomplished next. Okay, so now we got our drum all cleaned up. We got our bearing repacked and matched back to the location it came from. Then we're going to put in our new seal here. Best thing to do is just get it in at a little angle until you feel it bite. And then I take a brass drift or a little socket, start working my way around, overlapping from here to here with the socket. So once it makes contact, you know it's seated. Don't get it at too big of an angle or you end up warping the seal. Okay, now we got our bearings repacked. Everything's set up back out by the RV. See if we can get this thing back together. I hope you can see this okay. It's really hard for me to see the screen and the light out here. So anyway, we got everything back together. All the bearings repacked, and the new seal in, the drum cleaned, and the brake and the backing plate cleaned and inspected. So now we're going to slide the drum back up on here, taking care not to scuff up the spindle. Okay, looks like we're seated pretty good. Make sure I got no junk on that race there. So cleaned this earlier, but out here in the light, better light, I can see a little bit more. So just go over this one more time. Make sure we're tracking here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Take our other repack bearing, put it in, make sure it seats on the race. Take the washer here, sure it's lined up with that D there on the spindle. That on. Then we'll take the retaining nut. This is the 38 millimeter, or it's 1.5 inches, I think. This is what I was saying, this socket might come in really handy. Now, I'm probably going to get some hate mail on this, and I'm sure that Dexter has a specification for this. But this is the way I was taught, so this is the way I do it, and I'm not suggesting that you do this if you got the actual specification, but I've done it like this, like I said, for over 45 years, and I've never had a problem. So just take this and tighten this down till it's as tight as I can just get it with the ratchet. You can really feel that thing snug up and not want to move. And then back it off a 1/4 of a turn. So as you can see, that was there. Back it off about a 1/4 of a turn. I do it a couple times just to make sure it's seated good. Pretty good. And take a retainer, line the D part up again on your retainer and on your spindle, and snap that over. Take your dust cap, and you are completed with repacking one bearing, one hub. So 3 more to go, and then we'll get under here and show that more ride X Factor cross member brace. Okay, here's the more ride X Factor cross member brace. We just purchased the one to put in the center there just to get an idea what we were dealing with. With all the more ride stuff, you can see we got their wet bolt kit as well. It's all good stuff. So we're probably going to go ahead and get the other 2 cross member braces and go ahead and box all this in. As you can see, that just forces the whole suspension to work together from side to side with the axle hangers. So the next one will go back here all the way across, and then Same thing on the front up there, all the way across. So it came with real good instructions, and the installation was pretty straightforward. If you can handle repacking your hubs, this should be no problems. So I hope that helps you decide whether you want to invest in one of these or not. I think we're going to be pleased with it.